Two things that have just recently happened. So why am I talking about Vitaly and his cameraman Sly Kane? Well, because they are right now being put on the pillar of, if you're going to be screwing around in the Philippines or anywhere else, they're going to be made into an example of. So who is Vitaly? Just a short rundown. Famous YouTuber, had a lot of crash outs, and now most notably, he's known as the nuisance slash criminal streamer who is harassing businesses and women all across the Philippines. Well, not across the Philippines, but at least where he was staying at. And it got so bad that even the president of the Philippines did a reaction video to it. Currently, he is right now in the process of getting his trial set up, which will take maybe between 2 to 3 years, according to Legal Mindset. Please be sure to subscribe and follow to him. He's been breaking down all these nuisance criminal streamers for what they've been doing. Now, Vitaly, as has been corrected to me, pointed out, he's not an American. You know, he's lives in America, but he's from Russia. And so now he is being put upon the sacrificial line of screw around here and you're going to get the book thrown at you. So first of all, there's just a couple of things I want to play here, but I want to make an acknowledgement, and this has to deal with, and I'm not going to be playing the videos, but this is Sly Kane, the only social media account that shows, that shows what he's doing. Now, the thing is, Sly Kane was the streamer slash cameraman for Vitaly's post. And right now, as it stands, he's being looked for questioning by the authorities. Now, I'm not a full brain lawyer or everything like that. I am not well versed in the legal system of the Philippines, but I'm going to just maybe bring the comparison to the USA. If you're wanted for questioning, probably the best thing you can do for your defense, or either that to prove maybe innocence, is to just turn yourself in. Now, clearly, he is unaware or wants to play a stupid game because he is still streaming. And there's a lot of people in the Philippines that are angry at overall how he was filming Vitaly and not really stepping up. Now, Sly Kane still live on Kick and all that other stuff, but the rest of his social media as it stands remains private. But, there's a lot of internet sleuths out there. And so, a keen eye will probably wonder like, oh, where's that restaurant at? Let's use Google Maps. And the problem with social media, at least with a lot of these nuisance streamers, is that they have to be online, that they have to have that influence, that they have to have that adrenaline rush of getting views. He's still being looked for. He's still being looked for. Okay, but let's go ahead and talk about now with Vitaly. So what's going on? So right now there's a petition to ban Vitaly from social media as it's gained momentum, with his arrest. Now, I am not for cancel culture, but when you start using your platform to abuse and harass people, that's not right. Now, case in point here, I want to bring this up here. This is extremely important. When you have a social media platform, and you get the millions of followers, I mean, you have a social responsibility to do good. I mean, that's just my opinion. That's how I view it. If you have a lot of followers, you have to do some good. But unfortunately, Vitaly decided to kick people in the balls and then, oh, here's some money. I'm doing good. That's why I'm so glad that one American actually confronted Vitaly. So controversial Russian-American blogger Vitaly Zororovsky is once again under fire, this time facing possible jail time in the Philippines, and calls for a global social media ban after allegedly harassing locals during a live stream that many viewers say crossed the line from crude humor to outright abuse, especially stealing a firearm or harassing security and police officials. Listen, if you pull that off as a Chicago police officer, you're going to be nothing but a little stain on the sidewalk on Michigan Avenue or on State Street, okay? Or anywhere else if you try and pull it off as a Chicago police officer. Vitaly's lucky he didn't do that in any other country. He made a reference that if he did that in Russia, that he'd be knocked the F out. So going on here, so this is a pattern of provocation. This is not the first time Vitaly has landed in legal trouble. Of course, he's known for streaking at the 2014 FIFA World Cup. Why would you do that? He also, again, would verbally and abuse people as well, cyberbullying, and so much more. So what are kind of legal troubles that he's facing off against? So Filipino authorities began formal proceedings against Vitaly on April 2nd, April of 2025. And according to YouTuber Atozi, shout out to him, and also Legal Mindset, the influencer could face up to 24 years in prison, depending on the outcome of his trial. trial. Sorry about that. The Mirror notes that legal experts predict he may be held in custody for 2 to 3 years while waiting for sentencing, which could extend into 2027 or 2028. So, is it the end of his online career? Oh, absolutely. So, what do the prisons in the Philippines look like? Well, they're not good. And it's a horrible track record, okay? It is a horrible track record. And look, they're given meals, 3 meals a day. That's around $1. And I have seen what the food looks like. It's like liquid soup. Maybe they'll get a hard-boiled egg. But it's not only prisoners in there. I mean, we're also talking about roaches, rats, and other pests. We're talking about health problems. And for those of you who don't know, Vitaly, you know, his physical buildup, it doesn't look natural, okay? And when you are, you know, taking a lot of substances and vitamins or pills or anything like that, your body's going to have a massive crash out. If he's right now in a Filipino prison, I mean, he must be having some severe withdrawals or massive panic attacks, because that system, that environment, it's not good. Now, I want to give a shout out to this one YouTuber who was able to film what a Filipino prison looks like, at least from a bird's eye view. And this is from Everyday Treasure. Just want to acknowledge it because it's the right thing to do. So let's go ahead and do this here, because it's just no bueno. Definitely no bueno.
When it comes to commando. Oh, yeah.
That's what it looks like.
The prisoners are there, guys. Can you guys see the prisoners? Look at that.
I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy, okay? But also something else here, too. There's been a lot of commentary on Vitaly and what he's done. And I feel like, yes, definitely, have the book thrown at him. Have him be held accountable. People like Johnny Somali, people like Ice Poseidon, people like Vitaly, all these nuisance streamers harassing and abusing men and women in Japan, in South Korea, in the Philippines, in Thailand, guess what? Reflects badly on us. It reflects badly on us, because if you want to go overseas and visit the culture, the music, the people, enjoy the food, the scenery, whatever, from here on out, the way these nuisance streamers who have, I guess, a large following on Kick or Twitch or YouTube, they're making it difficult for us, the good people. So yeah, we need good people to step up.
Lightly ruin your life through a legal system that now has your mugshot, your IP address, and your criminal record framed like art. What really hit home was when Marco said, "We must fight the bullies. The government is with you." That's not just a statement. That's a declaration of war on stupidity, on arrogance, on the foreign freeloaders who think Filipino hospitality is a free pass to act like a degenerate in flip-flops. And before the passport warriors start whining in the comments, no, this isn't some anti-foreigner hysteria. This is anti-jackass. There's a difference. You can come here, respect the culture, enjoy the people, and live your best life. That's what the Philippines is all about. You'll be welcomed like family, fed like royalty, treated like a guest at a fiesta you never want to leave. But if you roll up thinking you're in some lawless playground where your camera gives you diplomatic immunity, bad news, buddy. That fantasy ends where the Filipino flag begins. Now let's address the elephant in the chat, the people who kept saying Vitaly wouldn't do real time because he's a foreigner. He's not going to get punished like a local, they said. He'll probably just pay a fine and jet off to Dubai. Wrong. Wrong like flip-flops at a wedding. Wrong like pineapple on adobo. Because when the president personally watches your clips and declares that you are the problem, there's no private jet out of that mess. This isn't Bali. This isn't Cancun. This is the Philippines. And when you act like a fool in their house, they don't just throw you out. They remind you who owns the house. And they make sure...
This is footage inside one of these prisons. There are international organizations that are calling out just how a lot of these prisoners are being held. One prisoner in particular used to hold political prisoners. Now, why is this also important? And people might be wondering, why would the president of the Philippines even comment on this? Because Vitaly decided to screw around at the wrong time during an election season in the Philippines. So many people from the Philippines have messaged on my previous other videos and even sent me some private message saying like, yeah, oh, no, this is being talked about. It is now a front center issue, okay? Or one of the many front center issues. It's not priority one, but it's like, hey, if you have tourists coming here harassing and abusing, the elders, women, children, we want some protections here. This has got to stop. And that means Vitaly and his camera guy, Sly Kane, who's on the run. I don't know why you're live streaming right now, buddy. It's the dumbest thing ever, doing an 8-hour live stream. There are people who are looking for Sly Kane, okay? He's wanted for questioning. They're going to be making examples out of you two. I mean, the longer you run, Sly, the worse it's going to get. But then again, anything can happen. Who knows? Social media has surprised me from time to time.
You pay rent in full, usually with some bonus community service, a lifetime ban, and a room in a cell with no Wi-Fi and a roommate named Boo Boy who collects toenails. And if you still think there's some magical influence or privilege card that'll get him out, ask around. Ask the other idiots who thought they could disrespect the country and fly away like nothing happened. The Philippines has receipts. They also have laws. And unlike some other places, they actually use them. Now look, I get it. The internet loves drama. Everyone's tuning in like this is a reality show called Pranks in Penitentiaries. But this isn't content. This is consequence.
Precisely. And again, I want to give a shout out to this YouTuber as well. You check out his full video, Brian the Lion. There you go. He does more of a breakdown. But this is what's also important here to bring up, and why we need to start changing things. The undersecretary is also commenting on the legal consequences. There's no get out of jail free card right now. None of that's going to be available for him. I mean, this is even talked about even on the local news.
And the charges on this Russian blogger.
So briefly, what happened last week, DILG Secretary John Vic Remulla called for a press conference to present the Russian vlogger Vitaly Starovetsky to the media. And this was based on a blotter that was filed in Taguig, where Vitaly, based on the report, committed disruptive and inappropriate acts, to quote the report.
Who filed the blotter?
Some victims in Taguig. So I'm sure you've seen
themselves.
Yes, I'm sure you've seen the videos. He was caught harassing a Filipina. He tried grabbing the cap of a security guard, as you can see there. And then there were other acts that he committed in Boracay. This guy has been around. He's been doing this since 2012 all over the world. He's been in the States, he's been to Brazil, Egypt, the UK, doing this sort of thing. Now, Secretary John Vic has said he violated our laws and he disrespected Filipinos.
And we're going to pause here now because, again, the early part of this video, why is this important? Why is that significant? The victims spoke out and filed charges. This is the kind of thing you don't want following you. And Vitaly has to account for all the victims. I counted not one, but 3 security or law enforcement officials that he harassed. There was maybe 8 to maybe 10 women, not to mention entering into a local McDonald's, disrupting the workers while they're trying to feed people McDonald's food. Fine, whatever your opinion about McDonald's, whatever it is what it is. Point is, I used to work retail. I used to work service. And the last thing any one of us want, especially for those of us who work in retail or in the food service industry, is have some jackass go behind the scenes and start screwing things up, because that's how accidents happen. I just want to end this note right here. For Sly Kane, recently, you did a live stream 4 days ago, 4-hour stream. Then, after I got done doing the post-duopoly show with my colleagues, I find out that he did an 8-hour live stream exploring the Philippines. You're wanted for questioning. Because, remember, everyone, I did a segment where the president of the Philippines was asking, or reacting to Vitaly. And if Vitaly's in front of the camera, who's holding the camera? That's the thing that people want to know. So, to the people of the Philippines, thank you for stepping up. And I urge everyone, especially for these nuisance streamers, these criminal streamers, time's up. It's over. And I hope Japan, South Korea, and everywhere else is taking notes, because it's time to regulate.